Listen very carefully because what I'm about to tell you is not just another volcano story. This is one of those moments where nature reminds us how small we really are. If you want real updates, real science, and real stories unfolding in real time, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now because very few people are talking about what actually happened in Hawaii on January 24th, 2026. And once you hear how fast this erupted, how high the lava flew, and what scientists uncovered next, you'll understand why this event has experts on edge and communities asking hard questions. At exactly 11:10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, inside the control room of Hawaii's leading volcano observatory, routine monitoring turned into instant chaos. Screens that usually showed steady, predictable lines suddenly spiked. Seismic graphs jumped sharply above baseline levels, thermal monitors flared, and within seconds, alarms began to sound. Outside at Kilauea's summit, lava fountains exploded into the sky, reaching nearly 500 meters high, far higher than scientists had forecasted. This wasn't a slow buildup. This wasn't a gradual escalation. Within just 90 seconds, satellites orbiting Earth detected an intense thermal surge pouring out of the crater, confirming that something extraordinary was unfolding beneath the surface. By 11:12 a.m., the observatory was in full red alert. Instrument panels lit up with warning codes as tremor readings climbed higher and higher. The Wekahuna tilt meter, positioned along the caldera rim, recorded a sudden deflation of 31 microradians in under 15 minutes, a clear signal that pressure beneath Halema Uma'u crater was dropping rapidly as magma surged upward. Scientists crowded around their screens, cross-checking live webcam footage with satellite heat maps streaming in from space. Every data point told the same story. This eruption was not only real, it was far more powerful than anything seen in the current eruptive sequence. Emergency protocols activated automatically. Notifications were dispatched to local authorities and national park rangers. Data packets streamed to USGS central servers, where analysts immediately began calculating eruption metrics. Fountain heights peaked near 480 meters. Effusion rates exceeded 1,000 cubic yards per second. By the time the episode began to subside, more than 14 million cubic yards of lava had been expelled, rapidly spreading across the crater floor. Inside the control room, the atmosphere was tense. Computers hummed constantly as models updated every few seconds, trying to predict what might come next. Every metric hovered near the upper limits of what the monitoring systems were designed to handle. With the eruption still pulsing, scientists made a critical decision. On-the-ground samples had to be collected immediately before wind, rain, or cooling altered their chemical signature. Just beyond the exclusion zone, field sampler Lonnie Nakamura adjusted her respirator and checked the gas monitor clipped to her vest. The display flashed 12 parts per million of sulfur dioxide, already pushing the boundary of safe exposure. The ground beneath her boots trembled with each step as she navigated fresh tephra and fragile crust, carefully avoiding hidden voids beneath the surface. Her GPS guided her toward a site identified less than an hour earlier by drone imagery, a patch of golden glassy fragments scattered downwind from the main fountain. The material was still hot. Kneeling quickly, Lonnie scooped the fragile fragments into pre-labeled heat-resistant bags, logging every detail according to strict chain of custody protocol. Time, location, gas concentration, ambient temperature, all carefully recorded. The air shimmered with volcanic haze. Steam hissed from cracks in the ground. Distant rumbles echoed across the crater. Once the samples were secured, she sealed the bags, stowed them in a padded case, and documented the site with time-stamped photographs. By the time she reached the handoff point, her gear was coated in fine ash. The samples were logged, scanned, and rushed to the laboratory for urgent analysis. Inside the lab, technicians opened the case under sterile conditions. The fragments, golden brown and feather-light, were examined under microscopes. What they saw immediately caught their attention. The structure was unmistakable. Delicate glass threads woven into a fragile, sponge-like network. Reticulite, one of the rarest volcanic materials on Earth, formed only during extremely powerful lava fountaining. Scanning electron microscopes revealed a chicken wire pattern of fused bubbles, while X-ray analysis confirmed a basaltic composition matching Kilauea's summit lavas. But something was missing: no olivine crystals. That absence told an important story. The magma had cooled and degassed so rapidly that crystals never had time to form. Further tests showed depleted water and sulfur levels, consistent with violent degassing at fountain heights exceeding 400 meters. Density measurements revealed the material was so light it would barely sink in water. Helium isotope analysis followed, a key indicator of magma source depth. The results fell squarely within Kilauea's known hotspot signature: no exotic magma, no deep mantle intrusion. As the lead geochemist summarized in a recorded note, the material was rare, beautiful, and dramatic, but fundamentally Kilauea through and through. The mystery shifted from what the material was to how the volcano had produced so much of it so quickly. Seismic modelers then turned their attention beneath the surface. Using advanced tomography, they mapped the volcano's interior layer by layer. The images revealed a striking vertical column of low-velocity material extending from roughly 3 to 15 kilometers beneath the summit, a persistent magmatic pathway filled with partially molten rock. At around 8 kilometers depth, the VP to VS ratio spiked to 1.8, a value strongly associated with interconnected melt zones. Earthquake data supported the model. Shallow quakes clustered between 1 and 5 kilometers, while deeper events aligned with the low-velocity column and coincided with the most intense fountaining at the surface. Comparisons with historical data revealed an unsettling similarity to structures believed to have fueled Kilauea's explosive 1790 eruption. While the column appeared stable and long-lived, current readings suggested an unusually high volume of melt moving through it. No empty voids, just dense, pressurized magma rising efficiently toward the surface. The conclusion was clear. This internal structure had set the stage for an eruption operating near the upper limits of Kilauea's behavior. As scientists finalized their models, civil defense officials gathered to assess risk. Real-time simulations projected fountain heights, lava trajectories, and tephra fallout. Thresholds were clear: a fountain exceeding 600 meters or tilt changes above 40 microradians would trigger immediate evacuation reassessments. While current activity remained below those limits, the margin was slim. Emergency planners mapped evacuation routes, updated shelter plans, and prepared alerts that could be issued within minutes. Residents were warned to stay informed and respect closures, knowing how quickly conditions could change. Just hours after the fountain subsided, a new controversy erupted. A petition calling for an immediate ban on all non-emergency drone flights over Kīlauea landed on the governor's desk. Activists claimed unauthorized drones had entered the exclusion zone, though FAA records showed no registered flights. The lack of documentation only fueled suspicion. Cultural leaders spoke out, describing the summit as a living ancestor and warning that unregulated activity represented not just a safety risk, but a profound disrespect. Questions spread across social media and council meetings. Who was watching from above, and why? Today, Kīlauea remains under constant surveillance, its power for now contained. But its message is unmistakable. Science can measure lava, gas, and ground movement, but it cannot eliminate uncertainty. As technology advances and pressure builds beneath the island, vigilance becomes more important than ever. Nature does not wait for us to be ready. The volcano is watching, and so must we. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you're subscribed, because these are the kinds of stories that unfold fast and the next chapter could come without warning.